All right, Karan here and Sean here from Life Accounting. We're super excited about this conversation because I feel like it's very important for literally every entrepreneur right now. We're talking about how to survive in a recession as a small business.
So, if you're a small business owner, the big question is how do you prepare for a recession? How do you prepare for the storm that's brewing up? Because, right now, I think that a lot of people are going to be affected by the recession. I mean, like Karan said, some people think we are, some people think we're not. But the consensus is it's going to get a little bit more worse before it starts getting better.
Yeah.
And so, number one, if you want to prepare, first thing is know the news, right? Track what's going on, see how the environment is changing, keep up with inflation and how prices are moving, keep up with employee demand, keep up with consumer demand. That's going to be really important. So I think number one is just be educated, follow the news. My favorite news site is CNBC. I check it almost every morning. I think that's a good place to get started if you want to prepare, is just be aware. Don't put your head in the sand and just keep operating the way you're operating,
All right.
but understand what's going on and how your environment may be changing. I think that's definitely one thing to help you prepare. Do you have anything?
I agree. I wrote something down for you, Sean. Okay.
All right.
So some people know this, some people don't. But when Steve Jobs returned to Apple in 1997, Apple was struggling. Okay. And you know the first thing that he did, Sean?
What's that?
He fired 4,100 people. 4,100 people, literally 31% of his workforce. He fired them when he came back in 1997. And reason being is because when your company is struggling, as most companies do in a recession, payroll is something that you need to be very aware of. Because it's typically, for most businesses, if you have employees, it's one of your biggest expenses.
Absolutely.
One of your biggest expenses. So that's going to be the first one that you want to make sure you look at, and also, just be meticulous about it.
Yeah, and I think on top of employees, it's almost similar to us as individuals, right? Like rent is also a big expense for a lot of small business owners. And
Right.
so one of the things that we did at our company when the pandemic happened was we went remote, fully remote.
True.
And so maybe that's an option for a small business owner as well. If you have a physical location, think to yourself, do you need that location? If you do need it, well, maybe you then consider a different area. Maybe you move to somewhere else. Maybe you downsize a little bit of space to cut back your expenses and keep your profit margins healthy.
I agree. Something else that business owners can do to survive a recession. Thinking about margins. How about tools, software, things like that, right? Literally, we were just on a call maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know if you remember, but I'm over marketing for our marketing agency, if you don't know. But Sean, we're on our call, and Sean says, Karan, are we still using are we still using that one tool?
Yeah.
Right? And it wasn't expensive, right? That tool is literally maybe, I don't know, $20, $30 a month.
Yeah.
Right? And our company does multiple $1 million a year. But Sean was meticulous about wasting money on tools, literally $20, $30 that we don't use, right? So make sure that you are taking a look at the tools you're using, the software you're using, right? And really ask yourself, do I need this
Right.
for my business to be successful, right? And something that a lot of people might not know, but in a recessionary period, most businesses need to keep as many customers as they can, okay? So if you're using the software, do not be shy about asking, for my favorite thing, a discount. Ask for a discount, whatever the price is, right? The worst thing you can get is a no, and the best thing you can get is a discount. So when you're looking at your tools and software, one, make sure that you need them, and two, ask for the discount.
Yeah, so I agree, right? In this environment, inflation is a big deal. And I logged into my Netflix account the other day. The first thing I saw was a pop-up. Prices are increasing from $14.99 to $16.99, right? And so even software expenses are increasing.
Yeah.
So like Karan said, think about, do you need it, right? Is this something that is critical for my business, or is it just something that's nice to have? We kind of use it, we kind of don't. And another big thing is, if you have a software, you're in a negotiating position of power.
Yes.
Right. And so one thing you can do, and a lot of software companies offer this, is lock into the annual rate. right? If you need it and you know you're going to pay for it the next year or so, then lock in the annual rate. And then on top of that, because we talked about demand decreasing, now you can go ahead and ask for additional discounts. Hey, I really love the tool. I'm on your annual subscription, but the business is going down a little bit. I'm seeing a little bit of demand. Is there anything else that you can do
Right.
for my business? And mention the fact that you are a small business owner. You're a small mom and pop shop. You're a new entrepreneur, and they'll be more likely to work with you.
Another thing that business owners should be looking at is their products and their services, and really looking at which product or which services bring in the highest ROI. Sean, you like to remember when at our marketing agency, we had 7 to 10 services we were doing at one time.
Yeah.
And what happened? We scaled those services back to maybe our highest ROI services and left it at 2 to 3 services that we're running for our clients. So why did we do that? We saw that some services wasn't profitable for our agency. So make sure when you're looking at your services and products, you're not just looking at profitability, but you're also looking at human capital and human efficiency as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Karan. That makes a lot of sense. And we did the same thing in the accounting business too, right? Like we used to offer all kinds of things, CFO services, tax resolution, bookkeeping, but then we scaled back and say, you know what, tax preparation, tax planning, those are what we're good at, and that's what we're going to focus the most on.
I agree.
And so you definitely want to take a look at that. And the best way to do that is you got to have some bookkeeping in place, right? You got to have your numbers together. You got to be able to look at, okay, what is the revenue per service? And then when you're looking at your expenses, what portion of your expenses are being allocated to each individual product and service? And then you got to ask yourself an important question, which is, where am I spending my time?
Right.
Where am I putting most of my brain power and energy into? And what we found is that we were putting a lot of energy and brain power and daily meetings into a service, but that service was barely profitable or wasn't a big chunk of our revenue. So I think as a business owner, you have to analyze and ask yourself, okay, is what I'm focused on right now my bread and butter, or is this something that is an investment that isn't paying off for the business right now?
I agree.
So I also would just mention that like taxes is very important too. Like as a business owner, taxes are your biggest expense, right? So after payroll, after rent, you have taxes, right? And so you have to have some type of tax strategy. It's not all about how much money you make. Sometimes it's about how much money you keep. Yes. And so you got to look at, are you maximizing your deductions? Are you using all your legal loopholes? Are you contributing to some type of retirement account? Do you have one set up for your company, your employees, or for yourself? Right? And these are all things that help you to get ROI on your money if you're able to use the right tax planning strategies, which, by the way, if you need help with tax planning or tax prep, click the link down in the description below and we'll help you out.
Love it, Sean. And speaking of holding on to your money, right? Something that a lot of business owners overlook is keeping enough cash in their business, right? So you want to make sure that you have enough money in your business to operate. A lot of business owners love distributions. You love it, right?
Yeah.
That money goes from your business to your bank account, right? But the more that you take money out of the business, the more that you have it gasping almost for air to operate and to live. So make sure that you keep enough cash in your business to operate efficiently. And for a number of things, for marketing, right? I think I want to talk about that a little bit later, because a lot of people stop marketing in a recession.
Absolutely.
But what most people should do is market even harder, because you have less competition. Everybody stops. So you want to keep cash in the business for marketing, for payroll, right? For making your business more efficient in the long run. It might cost you in the short term, but in the long run, use that money to make it more efficient, so on and so forth.
So great points, Karan. Definitely agree with a lot of what you said there. And as an individual, sometimes they say cash is trash, right? Like you want to be investing your money. You want your money to work for you. You want some type of passive income. In business, cash is king, right? Like if you don't have enough money, I would say you need at least 3 to 6 months of operating capital to be able to make sure, hey, if things do slow down, I can keep paying my employees. I can keep paying my rent. I can keep paying for the software and tools that I need in order to operate. And so, yeah, cash is definitely king. It allows you to weather a storm or a recession when you are a small business owner.
Right. And I just want to say it again because I just want to make sure people heard it, right? 3 to 6 months of expenses leave in the business. Trust me, it will save you in a time that's not so great, right? And we do it even in times that are good.
Yeah.
We still keep that money in the business to make sure that we can weather a storm.
So I think another thing to consider as a small business owner is that as the environment changes, right? As demand declines, as your customers are willing to spend less, then you also need to think about what your competition is facing. The same problems that you're feeling, your competition down the street is feeling. The competition across the world is feeling.
Yeah.
And so then you have to ask yourself, okay, if they're feeling the same thing, it's a battle of survival. Who can outlast the other person? And so sometimes as a small business owner, if you can take the margin hit and be a little bit less selfish and maybe operate on less margin than what you're used to, and your competition cannot, then that's going to give you a higher chance of actually coming out of recessions with more customers and having that kind of like brand authority and that brand trust that, okay, this company survived, they were operating, they were thriving even in bad times. So when their financial situation does turn around, they know that you're someone that they can trust.
Absolutely, Sean. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, if you guys like conversations like this and you want us to keep doing it, leave a comment below. And before you head out of here, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more information that helps you save on taxes and increase your wealth. I'm Karan from Life Accounting.
I'm Sean from Life Accounting.
And we'll see you in the next video.